All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a question that I think a lot of us have. In a world with millions, even billions of people, how can one single vote actually matter? Let's get into it.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You look at the massive scale of elections, and it's easy to think, what's the point? I'm just one person. It's so easy to feel like your voice gets lost in the noise. But what if I told you that feeling, that exact feeling, is actually the biggest threat to a functioning democracy?
You've probably heard this quote a million times. It's a beautiful idea, isn't it? But it doesn't just happen. It's not powered by some kind of magic. It's powered by a very real, very tangible action, casting a vote. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how that works, and why it's probably the most powerful tool you have.
So here's our roadmap. First, we're going to connect the dots between the ballot box and your everyday life. Then we'll zoom out a bit and look at voting as the absolute pillar of democracy and how it acts as a shield. And finally, we'll come back and bust that myth of the useless vote once and for all.
Okay, first up, let's make this personal. I want you to forget all the high-level political talk for a second. Because voting isn't just about some far-off leader in a fancy building. It's about shaping the world you literally walk through every single day.
Just think about it for a second. The folks we elect are the ones deciding your tax rates, the minimum wage, and how much funding your local hospital gets. They decide the budgets for your kids' schools, how your community is policed, and even the quality of the air you breathe. These aren't just abstract policies. They are decisions that have a real, direct impact on your life. So it really boils down to this super simple choice. When you vote, you are picking someone to fight for the things you care about. But when you don't vote, well, that's not a neutral act. You are literally handing your influence over to somebody else. And you better believe their interests might be the exact opposite of yours.
Okay, so we've seen how it affects you personally. Now let's zoom out and look at the big picture, how all of our individual votes come together to build the very foundation of our society. This is where we move from me to we.
You know, we hear the phrase civic duty, and it can sound like a chore, right? Like something you have to do. But let's try to reframe that. It's not really an obligation. It's more like an act of taking care of your community. It's about recognizing that we're all in this together, and our participation is what keeps the whole thing running.
And we can't forget that this right wasn't just handed over on a silver platter. For most of history, people couldn't vote. People fought, they marched, they sacrificed everything just for the chance to have their voice heard. From the women's suffrage movement to the civil rights activists who faced down incredible violence, generations struggled for this. Voting is how we honor that fight. And here's the kicker. Voting is our main tool for keeping leaders in check. The simple reality that they need our votes to stay in power, that forces them to listen. It's the ultimate incentive to actually deliver on their promises, because they know, come election day, we can hold them accountable.
And you can see the direct result of that right here. When a lot of people vote, the government is seen as more legitimate. People trust it more. But when turnout is low, that legitimacy tanks, and it just breeds more and more distrust in the whole system.
All right, let's talk about a role for voting that is absolutely critical, but we don't always think about it. It's not just about building a good society. It's about protecting that society from falling apart. Your vote is a shield. Because you know what the biggest threat to democracy really is? It's apathy. It's when we, the citizens, just check out. When we disengage, we don't just create silence. We create a power vacuum. And nature and politics abhors a vacuum. And this path is scarily predictable. It starts with people just not caring, not voting. That creates the vacuum. Then, leaders pop up promising easy, simple solutions, often by taking away freedoms. A public that votes is the best firewall against this. It sends a powerful message. We're here and we're watching.
Which brings us right back to where we started, to that feeling that your one single vote is useless. Let's tackle that idea head-on and put it to rest for good.
You know, some people feel that not voting is a way to protest a system they don't like. But let's be real. It's not a protest. It's a surrender. Staying home doesn't send a message of defiance. It just makes you silent. It's willingly giving up your seat at the table. And for anyone at all, who still thinks one vote can't possibly make a difference, history would like a word. There are tons of examples of major, crucial elections that have been decided by just a handful of votes. In some cases, by literally one single vote. It happens.
And really, this is the most important thing to understand. That idea, my vote doesn't matter, is a self-fulfilling prophecy. It only becomes true if enough of us believe it and decide to stay home. Your individual power is only lost when you and millions of others collectively choose not to use it. The power is always, always there.
So we'll leave you with this one final thought. In the end, it all comes back to you, the power and the responsibility. Voting is your most direct line to shaping your reality, to honoring the past, and to protecting the future. So, if you choose to be silent, who do you think is going to speak for you?